Hi, I'm Ruthie Dahle and welcome to my channel and welcome to this video. If you have been interested in how I do my makeup every single day, which is basically what I look like right now, then keep on watching. The first thing I always do before I do my makeup is I put some Vaseline on my lips. After I put Vaseline on my lips, I take my primer and I have to take a tacky primer on my nose, a little bit underneath the eyes, so a little bit up to my eyebrows, but mainly right here and then a little bit right here, just because makeup does not stay on my face in those areas. It just doesn't. So I found that using a tacky primer that has stick to it really works. So the one I'm using is the Nyx Glitter Primer and it looks like this. Hold on. And it's not an eyeshadow primer per se, but I use it as an eyeshadow primer. You can get away with using a tacky eyeshadow primer. I just happen to have this one. Where I live, this is the most affordable one and it works. I don't want to spend a lot of money when there is a better offer out there for a better price. So I use about this much, if you can see. Then for the rest of my face, I use W7's It's Glow Primer, and this one is amazing, guys. It leaves you with a lot of shine. So I use about 2 pumps of this, and I will smear it on my hands just so it doesn't drip down, but this is what it looks like, guys. And I take that to the rest of my face, avoiding as much as I can the area I already applied primer. And I always bring it down to my neck because, well, I put makeup there too. Then I take just a plastic card. This one doesn't work, but it's from a beauty store, and I just use this to put my foundation on and then to put it on my face, just because I feel like if I put it on my hand absorbs a lot of the product, so a lot of the product goes to waste. So I just like to use a plastic card. You can use anything really for this. Now keep in mind, I do shave my face for a more flawless finish on my makeup, so just that information. So recently I bought the L'Oreal Infallible foundation, the 32 hour fresh wear, that looks like this. And this is the shade 260 Warm Undertone, and I bought this one because the L'Oreal True Match, which is the one I've been using for years, doesn't have a yellow undertone where I live, even the warm one. And I have the 3D3W Warm Undertone, but it's pink. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this is the True Match, this is the Infallible, and this is more pink, this is more yellow. And the tan that I'm currently using is more yellow in its undertone, and I want a foundation that matches, so I bought this one. And I think I will go back and buy a lighter one as well, because there are days when my foundation is a little light foundation, when my tan is a little lighter, because I'm going into, because it's not fresh, okay, it's a few days old, and then it needs to match my face. So right now these two are perfect actually, because this one is when my tan is fresh, this one is when it's a few days old or the day I am about to wash the tan off. I can use this one, it will match, it will work, so products will be used. Anyway, I take 2 pumps of this one, and this one is of the True Match is a medium coverage and the Infallible is full coverage. So I take about 2 pumps of this And then I don't like a messy bottle. And I have my foundation brush. It said angle foundation brush on this one, but this is what I use for applying my makeup. And I just dip this in every corner and then blend it. That way I have this here and this here. And I just dab it into my skin basically. I don't wipe it, I just use dabbing motions always. Maybe when I get down to my neck I will use dragging motions, but that's the only place I will do that. Now, whatever I have left on this, I have a paper towel that I use throughout this makeup application process, and I just wipe it down. That way, when I put it back in the drawer, it's not messy. I hate messy makeup. It can happen to anybody, but I try to avoid it. And then I take the tip of this and wipe it on the paper towel as well, because like I said, I don't like messy makeup. And then the cap is on. Now for my concealer, I use the True Match concealer in the shade 1RC Ivory Rose. Now I haven't, when this is finished, I have the number 2 because this one is really light, but it's kind of worked with this foundation, so we will see. But this is what it looks like, if you can see. And I just apply that to the center of my face, but mostly I need it on my nose because my nose need a thicker cover than the rest of my face. But then because this is lighter, I just apply it to these areas. If I were using the True Match foundation, I would only do the nose and this forehead. I would not do these 2 dots or this one, but this works for this foundation. Then I have a small full coverage concealer brush that is also angled like the other one. They came in the 3-pack. You will see all 3 brushes throughout this process. And I don't know where the brushes are from because my mom bought them for my Christmas calendar. So I don't, they're probably from Europe somewhere, but that's about it that I know. But I like to do, again, dabbing motions throughout my whole makeup process. I only use dabbing motions. I never use swiping unless it is my bronzer underneath my eye or bronzer on my eye. But we will get to that when we get to that. So dabbing motions, just blend this out. Then I like to take my setting powder now because all of my bronzer and blush is powder. I'm looking for a good, in the right shade obviously, liquid blush and bronzer. But when it comes to blush where I live, they don't have the hot pink. I need hot pink. But I'm traveling soon, so I will look when I'm traveling. Anyway, I'm taking my Max Factor Cream Puff Pressed Powder in the shade 05 Translucent, and it looks like this. And I'm taking a, what is it called? A Beauty Puff. This one. It is Panda, that's all it says on there. And I like to take like this. And then I take a clean, dry beauty blender and just dab in. This I only do for the teen zone and my eyes, just because I feel like this will give the most flawless finish. I don't need to do this towards the edge of my face. I recently bought the powder brush from Brushworks, and I bought this actually as my new blush brush, but I like it as my setting powder brush, so I'm using this one to just dab in on the outer parts of my face. I like to cover my whole face and neck in powder just to set everything. There is a reason why makeup in the old days look really good. It's because they set everything in a right way that works for them. For me, that is setting powder everywhere. Then I have my W7 Honolulu Sun Blazed bronzer that looks like this. I have this brush, which is a buffing bronzer brush. It's again angled with belonging to the set of the other three brushes, and I like to just dip this in here and now this side always fights me on the application. It's never as flawless as the other side. I don't know, do you have the same where one side does better than the other when it comes to a certain product? I think today it's doing better, but usually it fights me so hard. Then I take some into my hairline just to blend my makeup out, and my temple. I like to do one side at a time, which is why you see me doing this. Then I apply it to my jawline, underneath it, not on it. And I usually drag it down, and then whatever excess I have, I put on my ears because I need to match. This will be blended, don't worry. But then I'm taking a, technically it's a soft round eyeshadow brush that looks like this, if you can see it. And I like to take my bronzer and contour my nose. It's technically not contour because it's not a cool shade, but it does add more dimension to my nose, so my face is not flat. I don't want a flat face. add a little bit in my Cupid's bow because I like to define it. And I just run across, again, I'm drawing everywhere I would normally see shadow on my face anyway, to add the dimension back into my face, because a foundation like the same color all over your face flattens your face. So if you want to do that, don't add bronzer or anything to add dimension. I add bronzer and blush in areas to add dimension back into my face and color. Then I like to put my bronzer on my eyelid as well as an eyeshadow, because why not? Then I will take my blush, and I'm using the Makeup Revolution Blush Reloaded Rhubarb and Custard. But again, I'm looking for a hot pink one because the hot pink I have is very much almost empty. And this is what this Makeup Revolution one that looks like this is something that I go for when I want something neutral. And the lid fell off, which is why you see it like this. But then I take my, it used to be my setting powder brush, but I like it as a blush brush. So I'm taking this big fluffy brush and I'm just getting in there. And I do not care about having a lot of brush, okay? If I have a lot of blush on, it's because I want a lot of blush on. I don't care, but you know that whole blindness thing that people have on TikTok? I've seen a few of those, and a lot of the time it's just people having their own opinion about the makeup they prefer versus what the person wearing the makeup prefers, which makes no sense to me. If I have a blindness, I will keep being blind. But yeah, I apply my blush all on the cheek, focusing it in the front. I think my last video I did say I like to keep it in the outer corner, and that is true, but I like to switch it up, and I just missed having blush in the center of my face, and so I went back to the way I had it in university, which was blush everywhere. No, that's a joke. But I did have blush towards the center of my face when I was in university. Then I take my setting powder brush that I used earlier with zero product on. There might be some left from earlier, but there is no new product on it. And what I like to do is just dab everything into my face and blend it this way. I'm facing the window so that I know if I blended it right or not for the daylight. I don't know how this will come up on camera, but this is what I'm wearing today, so I am making sure it looks good in real life. Then I have a, I don't know, fluffy eyeshadow brush again. It looks like this. By the way, after you're done dabbing, make sure you fluff your brushes afterwards. That way they will live longer. But yes, I will take this brush and I will dab on my nose and swipe on my eyes to blend these lines. Again, I'm using daylight. The next thing that I do is my eyebrows, and I will try and do it at the camera but at the window at the same time, just because I like them to be as even, because they're not even. As you can see, I don't have a lot of eyebrows to work with. Now, I do have eyebrows that maybe I should show on this side. I feel like there's much sun. Okay. My eyebrow basically stops right here. So it goes from here to here. Now, I do have hairs that grow down here, but that is too close to my face, I guess. So it closes my face, and I have a small head compared to my body. And so I need to move this out. That's why I've shaved this part off. What we do for beauty. So I'd like to draw it pretty close to my hairline. And I know that's not for everyone, but that's the way I do it. And I feel like my eyebrows are the love child of the 1930s meets 2016. That is my eyebrows, and I love it because I love the 1930s and I love the dramatic 2016s. So I feel like that was like the last happy year we had. When makeup, fashion, it's the last happy year we had. And I know some people will argue and say 2018 we were already dying a little bit when it comes to makeup and fashion. So enough ranting. But what I like to do is take a spoolie like so and brush my eyebrows. This actually helps remove some of the product that is underneath, so it doesn't become like a thick layer right here, but it also helps me shape my brows in place. Now, I don't like using brow gel just because I feel like it's not for me. I don't like the feeling. I'm removing my slippers so I don't sit on them when I move the chair. Okay. This will be a different angle for you guys, or maybe this is the same angle. That's a whole lot of birds. Same angle for you guys throughout the video, but this is my video being done. What happened to... I use a brow pencil. I used to do, I think in my last everyday makeup, I used the powder. But then, that's the thing about my face. It goes in cycles. So sometimes it likes the powder, sometimes it prefers the pen. And right after I filmed that video, my face was like, no more beauty blenders to apply your makeup. No more powdered brows. My face was like, no more. So I had to switch up my routine by using brushes to apply my makeup and switching to a pencil. My face runs in cycles, so this is the cycle I've been living with for the last almost a year. Maybe show you the product I'm using would be beneficial for this video. Anyway, I'm using the W7 Stroke of Genius in the shade Blonde, and I don't know if you can see that. That is the thing about blonde pencils is that a lot of them don't have red in them, but the W7 have red in them, and that works perfect for me because I have red in my hair. So the brows will look more natural on me. And so what I do is I do draw underneath the first brow, then the second, then I draw above this first brow and then the second, because this is my, I don't know, it's easier to do this side first and then this, and I feel like this is my good brow, but then sometimes this ends up being my good brow, so I don't know, we will see. But yeah, I also like my brows closer together, so it's just a preference I have. What it tells me whether or not I have a good smooth arch is if I do this and I can see it is nice and smooth. That way whenever I move my face, I know it's a nice smooth arch. That's why I always do this, is to see the arch, to see how it wings out and how smooth it is, and that it's not like, or that's off camera. And then this, I don't want that on me. I know some people may like it or may have natural brows that way. I don't do that on me. Now I'm working on the brow here that is lower than the other side naturally, and I try to pluck my brows in a way that this, I pluck underneath here and I pluck over here because this is higher brow. Now this side of my face is also wider than this one. This is more narrow, which is why sometimes this eyebrow seems more wide. It's just because this side of my face is wider than this. Symmetry for y'all. I am not perfect. I don't know, I need to lift my mirror for a second, so if it's in frame, it's in frame. It's just so that I can work the angle. Yeah, they're fairly similar. Now, don't worry about any mistakes because I will clean up any mistakes. I always clean up. But the next thing I do is draw the front. And make sure they are as thick on each side as they can be, and then I just fill them in and then I clean up after. I like to do all my mistakes at once and then correct them later all at once. Then I use my setting powder to correct any mistakes, and this brow is thicker than the other, and that is usually how it happens anyway. I'm looking for a brush, that's why I'm not looking at the camera. And then I just take a flat brush and my setting powder to define the brows. But before I do that, I obviously soften the front pieces with my spoolie. But now that I've done all of that and I put my setting powder on top of my eyebrows, I will have now a white line there. So I take my bronzer and I take my blending brush from when I blended my nose and I dip the tip just so. And what I like to do is, maybe I should sit up straight for this, and I need my mirror to make sure it's right. Very light stroke, and almost on top of my brow I apply this bronzer. That way it is nice and blended in and it doesn't get any harsh lines, and it removes that white line that my setting powder set, because my setting powder is obviously lighter than my bronzer and we applied bronzer here earlier. Then the next thing that I do is I do my mascara, and I like to do something else first actually. I like to look up and take this is a clean angle brush, and this is almost the only thing I use this brush for, that and removing any dirt that kind of like drizzled down from like the eyebrows, the eyeshadow, whatever. That's what I use this brush for. But look up and very light strokes, just brush the inner corner, and make sure it's the inner corner and not out here, because you want to make sure this is nice and blended and it doesn't crease. You don't get a lot of creasing. Now I am old, so I have a little bit of like smile marks, as I can say, because they're not full-on wrinkles, but you can tell I've smiled in my life. So I'm not worried about those. But yes, now that that is done, I will take my eyelash curler and curl my lashes, and I like to make sure that I get them all in there and squeeze. I do like little pumps. I feel that works best for me, and I feel I need more pressure on this eye than on the other, because currently I have a few lashes that like to grow straight for whatever reason, even though every other lash I have grows curled up. It's just one of those things, I guess. Now I like to use the momentum of this square up here to lift my lash a little up and back, just so that I can get to the root of the lashes. And maybe that's something for you. Now I don't use this heated, I use this cold because I just like to shape my eyelashes, and I do this before I do my makeup or my mascara, because I feel after there's no point, not for my lashes at least. Then I will take my Maybelline The Colossal. It's currently my favorite mascara. It's been my favorite mascara for a long time, and it is because it is thin mascara. It's a thin formula and a fluffy brush, so you get natural lashes, but it's mascara. And I like to only apply this on my upper lashes, and I feel like anybody who says I should do them on my lower as well, you're just automatically my enemy. But if you have a hard time putting mascara on because you keep blinking, I like to put my wand close to the lash line and then blink into it and then brush out. That way I use my eye reflexes and my eye muscles in my favor. Now, this is not where I leave my makeup, okay? This is a mess. I don't know if you can tell, but look at that. I have mascara on my upper lid. And I know that's normal. People don't care. I care. So, first things first, I like to gently remove any mascara that could have gotten on my lower lashes by putting the lashes between my nails. And I like to do it on this little side part here, even though it belongs to my upper lashes, just because that lash is growing down and I don't want to emphasis on that. And then I do the same on the other side. There are different ways to remove the mascara that you got on top of your lid. I like to use my setting powder and a flat brush like so. I don't know, like so, I guess is the best way you can do it. And just wipe it away. That way, when you're wiping, you're taking away product, but then you have setting powder, so you're putting product back on. And so it's not ruining your makeup. I feel like it's these little details that make you look put together versus not. If I wanted to go with a more messier and just got out of bed kind of look, I would not care, but I care, so this is what we are dealing with. Now, it doesn't stop here with my eyes because, okay, some days I like to do false lashes, a little bit of a wing going on, but that's not my everyday makeup, and we're doing my everyday makeup, not my I feel a little bit special today kind of makeup. So I'm taking my eyeliner, and this is just any eyeliner that I have, and it looks like this, and I put that on the waterline on my upper lashes, and only about halfway, maybe a little bit more, and not into the inner corner, because if you're like me, it transfers down here throughout the day and I don't want to be messy, okay? So this stops that from happening, and if there is any transfer to my lower lashes, I've only noticed that it's just right here in the outer corner, and that doesn't matter because when that just emphasizes my lower lash line a little bit better, so it just looks good and I don't mind. If you have a problem with doing your waterline, one thing that is the number one tip that I can give you is that it's not the whites of your eye that hurt. Maybe if you poke yourself in it, it will hurt. But I like to point my liner upwards so that it's to my waterline and not into my eye. And I also like to make sure that my iris is the one looking away, so that if my pencil touches anything, it's the whites of my eye and not the color of my eye, if that makes sense, because that is the area that is more sensitive. Then the next thing that I like to do is you put on some highlighter, and I'm currently using, it depends if I want to go more cool toned or warm toned or whatnot, which highlighter I use, but I'm currently going to be using the Makeup Revolution Cheek Kit Take a Breather, and this pink right here, I think that's pretty nice neutral color. And I use a big fluffy brush for the larger parts of my face so that any highlight I have looks like a natural glow to my skin. And I like to do here as well, so that when just see, this is why we do that. And then I take a smaller, like an eyeshadow brush, and use the same highlighter, but I apply it to like more detailed areas of my face, like my eyebrow bone, so that it can shine a little bit as well, get a little bit of attention. I don't know, can it, there you can see I have to find the sun so you can see the... Then I like to put it on my eyelid as well. In the inner corner. On my nose. I try to avoid the line that we did earlier, or I did earlier. I don't know if you're following along doing your makeup with me. I don't know. And then Cupid's bow. And the last thing is here, just on my chin. Now, if you have like me, this part is more out than this part. So I like to put it right here so that I don't emphasize that this is going out more. Just a personal preference. Then I take a really small brush like so. And I go in with the same highlighter, but this time it's more intense in certain areas. Then I move on to my lips, and I use my favorite lipstick is come to an end. It's no longer with us. I finished it. So I need to go and find more lipstick, but I have another one that is the second one that I like, and it's almost empty, so I definitely need to get more. And my lip liner is getting really small. But this is the Kiko Milano's Creamy Comfort Lip Liner in the shade 303. And the best way I can show you is by showing you the tip so that you see what color it is, because it's so small. When I line my lips, I like to overline them a little bit, especially up top, because I don't have much of an upper lip, but I also have a kind of a lip where you can't tell unless you're up close where the lip finishes, because it finishes a little higher than it seems from a distance, or even from this distance, because it fades quite naturally into my own skin tone, which I don't know why. So this is right on my actual line. This is the type of lip I actually have. And then I will see what I will do, because it's quite fine. I just like to round it up top. But then I'm taking my Kiko Milano's sheer lipstick in 203 Glossy Dream, and that sun came in hot. Let's see what I can do. Is that better? I hope that is better. But yes, I'm using the Kiko Milano's sheer lipstick 203 Glossy Dream, and it is this shade right here. If you can tell, my battery is running low. Now, the magic with lips comes now. So I have a flat brush, really small one, that I use to get the line right on my lips. And I have no product on it. I used the product that I applied already. And this helps blend the line of the lip liner and the lipstick, as well as making sure it's smaller so you can get a sharp line where you want a sharp line. is usually where I draw it to. And I like to blot my makeup, and I usually do it by sticking a finger in my mouth, but I'm not going to do that on screen. So, and the reason why we do this is so that when we're smiling and we're talking, we don't get lipstick on our lips. And you can do a test by going like this. It looks weird, but you test any different angle you'll find yourself throughout the day, even if it's weird, because sometimes we make funny faces. So I am now getting makeup on my teeth, and so I know it is good. Then the last thing I do for my lips is I take my setting powder and the flat brush that I've been using all along, and I'm just going around the line. I feel this sharpens the line and makes it a clean line. Then the last thing I will put on, and this is the very last thing I do, I like to just take the brush that I've used before that I told you to make sure I get any residue that is on my face off my face, and then I'm using a setting spray. So for the past year, I've been using the Makeup Revolution's Base Fix. Ran out of that one, so when I went to buy a new one in the store, they didn't have anything from Makeup Revolution, so I went to the W7's department or section of the store, and I found the W7, the Vitamin C Fixer. This one has been tested through a shopping day, so I know it works. And it works good, but the spray is a little bit hard, so spray in a distance. And it's quite refreshing. Then I take a clean beauty blender, the one that I use for my lips after wiping off the foundation. I just like to do this to blend the last bit of makeup together, the highlighter and all of that, just making sure that it's all blended and so nice and so together. And here you have it, my everyday makeup routine. Now, do I spend more time on makeup than maybe the average person? Yes, I do, but I love makeup, so I set aside time to do my makeup. And I'm also a little bit of a perfectionist, so that takes more time. That's just who I am. But I do like calculate my makeup routine into my everyday life, so I wake up earlier than maybe most people just so that I can do my makeup exactly how I want my makeup done. And so that is all I have for you today, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. And if you want more content like this, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you will be notified when I upload a video. And with that, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!